I don't believe in silver bullets. I don't. Just one or two things that you do that changes everything. But darn, does APEST get close to a silver bullet. I was always quite surprised at how undeveloped the church is after 2,000 years of biblical language. So we say like theology. We believe in theology, theologos, God words, right? There's matter. Language matters, right? But there was no question when you looked at every movement that went to scale, it's undeniable that they had a fivefold dynamic going. And you realize, well, they don't happen with 5Q. Because to have a movement, you have to have the capacity to both initiate and sustain, to generate and to operationalize. And you just need all five to make that work. It will not work without it. 5Q started, I've been thinking quite a lot and applying this, colloquially in a local setting of using fivefold as a way to assess organizational functionality or dysfunctionality. Can we use this not just of human beings and people and trying to give them some nuance in terms of their calling, but can we use this to look at churches and to see how functional or dysfunctional they are? And actually it's a very powerful tool. The church is misaligned. For me it's about a misalignment around Jesus. If a group of people claiming to be a church don't look, act, sound and think like Jesus, is it a church? Or what is it? And I now think, I don't know, and I think we need to be called on it. And I would also say, before we get all apostolic and take bad religion and make it better at being bad, you've got to correct it. So that another reason why I'd say the prophetic voice needs to be heard right now. Not mine particularly, but generally we need to pay attention to this. Because the prophet plays a role like a radar in a plane. Switch off the radar, you're going to crash into the mountain. And I think we need to kind of pay attention. We're flying through shady waters, very murky, and we need to know, that we're on track. That you have to rethink church's movement. You can scale it down and scale it out. So it's a different way of thinking about it. Well, I think one of the things I think we just need to remind ourselves, Westerners particularly American, which is highly individualistic, that the Bible is primarily addressed to communities, and that we can hear individuals addressed, but it's always through the community first. So we actually have to make sure there's like a correction that we have to do, is to say, it's not just addressed to me as my calling, but my relationship to others is affected by this as well. So that's what is meant, of course, by the body of Christ, which is a very core element to the Ephesians 4. If the church was able to grapple with this, they're grappling with the full functionality of the church. In other words, when you play out the apostolic, prophetic, evangelistic, shepherding, teaching functionality, and you play out what they represent, the missional kind of expression of the church as a movement moving beyond itself, the alignment to God and His purposes and calling us to being a just people in the world. Evangelist is, bringing people into the message as it unfolds. A good news person, we need a lot of that. The shepherd creating healthy communities that flourish, teacher bringing wisdom and understanding. What's missing from the functions of the church there? Actually, it covers the full range of ministry. What is missing? And what don't you want? And why? And who gave you permission to extract it anyway? And so my hope is that the church has a gift to be able to kind of realign itself at this current time by taking into account the full functionality of the church and allowing others who've been pushed outside of the functions of ministry, not given any offices. I don't believe in offices, but not given the titles and the roles, but feel, outed from ministry, and then they can pull that off in the marketplace, but they can't do it in the church. I think the loss to the church is immense. So it's an opportunity for us to correct the system right at the core and reintegrate get the body back into full functionality.